Therefore, our presence in Nazareth is a presence of about 20 years, from 1996-97, after a presence of the little sisters, who were in the house in which we live, in the convent where we live, for about 60 years, which was exactly the convent of the Sister Clares, who welcomed Charles de Foucauld on his arrival in Nazareth. Charles de Foucauld arrived in Nazareth the first time at the end of the 1880s for a pilgrimage after his conversion to ask the Lord what was His will for his life. After the experience in the Trappist monastery, that is, the beginning of his journey in the religious life, Charles de Foucauld decided to move to the city of Jesus, to live the hidden life of Jesus the best possible way. He believed at that time that the best possible way was precisely in the place where Jesus lived his hidden life, that is Nazareth. He arrived in 1897 and stayed there for 3 years, from 1897 to 1900. So our presence in Nazareth is motivated primarily by our desire to be part of the spiritual family of Charles de Foucauld, the desire to keep alive the memory of blessed Charles de Foucauld in Nazareth, in what has been, shall we say, his home for those 3 years. And our first commitment is certainly that of acceptance, perhaps even more than the fraternity life, our fraternity life, trying to live the gospel in our little fraternity here in Nazareth. We are 3 little brothers up to this moment, Paolo, Alvaro and myself, and our presence is also motivated by the acceptance of all the people who live in Nazareth, the Nazarenes of today, who perhaps need to recover the memory of this blessed one, that is, to be acquainted with him, to know that he lived here because he did live here, and what was his spirituality. And then certainly also the welcoming of the many pilgrims who come from almost every corner of the world to visit this convent, to pray in the same place where Charles de Foucauld prayed, to know better his figure and spirituality, even to figure out how to live possibly the same spirituality in the daily life of many fathers and mothers of families, young people who come to Nazareth and who come to visit our community. In addition to this, for us there is also the commitment to be part of this reality, the city of Nazareth, the society in which we live, the reality of the Holy Land with all its difficulties, its contradictions, in which we are called to be a welcoming presence towards all, without any distinctions or links to race or religion. This is certainly a very difficult task that also required a long journey of preparation for learning the language, in particular Arabic, which is the language mostly spoken in this city, inhabited for the most part by Arabs. In a way, this work has also been a tool that has allowed us to enter into a deeper relationship with the inhabitants of Nazareth. For some years, this work has first been a service in an institution for children with serious family difficulties, and in the last 3-4 years has been a service in a hospital in Nazareth, where one meets the sick people and those who are members of the staff, that is to say, employees, doctors, nurses, etc. Obviously, one meets all sorts of people, Jews, Muslims, Christians, both among the sick, because the disease does not distinguish, but also among doctors and among those who take care of them. What I think has brought me closer to this fraternity is above all the figure of Charles de Foucauld. Charles de Foucault is a person who has always aimed from the start to what, in my mind, is most essential in a man's life and also in spirituality, the spirituality of a man. A profound search for the absoluteness of God, but always connected to a profound friendship with humanity. This, I believe, is something very attractive, and all associated with a great simplicity in which Charles de Foucault found again his roots, his life, a way to live a life deeply immersed in the mystery of God and in relationships with others. In addition, I also met people who are part of this spirituality. I think of our fraternity, but I also think of other realities, the Little Sisters of Jesus, or other expressions of the family of Charles de Foucault, having therefore met people with a beautiful humanity. This, I believe, is a bit the result of a healthy spirituality that has its roots in the daily life, in the hidden life of Jesus in Nazareth.